The night was quiet, the streets almost empty when Chuck Norris parked his car under a dim streetlight. Suddenly, the harsh sound of sirens cut through the silence, and a group of arrogant, racist cops approached him with weapons drawn and eyes full of misplaced confidence. What happens when you try to arrest a man the world has underestimated? The tension was palpable, every passerby holding their breath as the officers barked orders. Chuck remained calm, his face composed, revealing nothing. Yet in his eyes was a storm of discipline and authority, a hint that these cops had no idea who they were truly confronting. In seconds, the situation would spiral far beyond their understanding, and justice was about to arrive in a way no one expected. The street was dimly lit, the evening air thick with tension, as a few flickering streetlights cast long, uneasy shadows across the pavement. Chuck Norris leaned against his car, calm and composed, his posture effortless yet alert, every muscle poised as if anticipating the slightest threat. Across from him, two police officers approached with an air of arrogance, their faces twisted in condescension and self-importance, completely underestimating the man standing before them. Their boots clicked loudly against the pavement, each step radiating overconfidence, their voices dripping with authority and prejudice as they barked commands, trying to assert control. Chuck's eyes scanned their movements with sharp precision, his calm demeanor masking a storm of experience and power. The subtle rise and fall of his chest, the steady set of his jaw, and the controlled tension in his stance spoke volumes. He was no ordinary man. A faint breeze rustled through the street, carrying with it the murmurs of distant onlookers who sensed the brewing confrontation. Every glance, every shift of weight from Chuck radiated quiet dominance, hinting that the officers were about to face consequences far beyond their comprehension. The air itself seemed to hum with anticipation, a silent warning that the calm before the storm was about to shatter. In the shadows, Chuck's hand hovered near his phone, a subtle reminder that he held unseen connections ready to turn the tables in seconds. The two officers closed in on Chuck with an aggressive swagger, their hands brushing against their holstered weapons as if ready to escalate at the slightest provocation. Their voices were sharp, dripping with condescension, questioning him rudely as they demanded identification and explanations. "Step out of the car now," one barked, his tone laced with arrogance and assumed authority, while the others circled, eyes scanning Chuck like a predator assessing prey. They laughed under their breaths, mocking his calm demeanor, confident that their badges and numbers gave them power. Yet Chuck remained perfectly composed, his gaze steady and unflinching. He analyzed every movement, every shift of weight, every subtle twitch in their posture, calculating their intentions with precise clarity. The officers continued to provoke, making thinly veiled threats, trying to push him into reacting first, but Chuck's silence was unnerving. Each second stretched, tension thick in the air, as onlookers began to gather at a distance, sensing the brewing confrontation. A micro-hook lingered with every word exchanged. The audience could feel that Chuck was far from powerless, that his calm was not submission but preparation, and that the officers were dangerously unaware of the storm that was about to break. Every glance Chuck cast, every measured breath, suggested a man in total control, ready to act, yet the timing and nature of his response remained a mystery, leaving viewers on the edge of their seats anticipating what would happen next. Chuck's mind briefly drifted as he assessed the situation, but his calm exterior belied decades of preparation. Years of elite training, countless missions, and disciplined routines had forged him into a man who never underestimated danger, who never allowed arrogance or ignorance to dictate the outcome. He remembered every lesson from his past, the times he had faced overwhelming odds and emerged victorious, the discipline instilled through rigorous physical and mental conditioning. Each decision he made now was informed by that experience, every movement deliberate and precise. Chuck understood power, authority, and strategy, and he carried connections that extended far beyond what these two officers could imagine. As the officers continued to bark commands, his hand moved subtly toward his phone, not for a simple call, but to connect with the highest authority, the Pentagon. The air was electric with suspense. Viewers could almost feel the shift approaching. Every glance, every twitch of the officer's muscles was mirrored by Chuck's calm, deliberate calm.
The audience knew that within moments, the situation would pivot entirely, but the exact manner of his response remained tantalizingly unknown. Their arrogance was about to meet consequences far beyond their imagination, and the anticipation of what Chuck would unleash kept viewers on the edge of their seats. Chuck lifted his phone with steady, deliberate hands, his calm demeanor masking the storm of experience and authority beneath. He dialed numbers only a select few could access, his voice firm, concise, and unwavering as he spoke with top Pentagon officials. Each word carried weight, leaving no room for doubt or misinterpretation. While the arrogant officers thought they controlled the situation, Chuck had already shifted the balance of power. Within minutes, the distant wail of sirens grew louder, signaling the arrival of elite law enforcement. Black SUVs, armored vehicles, and unmarked cars converged on the scene, their precision and professionalism evident in every movement. FBI agents and high-ranking officers emerged with purpose, exuding command, authority, and a quiet menace that made it immediately clear they were in control. The original cops' smug confidence evaporated as their faces registered shock, fear, and disbelief. They were outmatched, out of jurisdiction, and facing consequences far beyond their reckoning. Chuck remained composed, his stance relaxed but commanding, as if the mere presence of his figure could shift the atmosphere. The crowd on the sidewalks, who had been watching nervously, now shifted from curiosity to awe, sensing the sudden reversal of power and the unfolding of justice. Microhooks punctuated every moment, the subtle glances exchanged between officers, the tightening of fists, the whispered commands as the elite team assessed the scene. Chuck's calm decisiveness orchestrated the intervention, demonstrating that true authority does not need to shout. It commands respect silently. Each approaching agent intensified the tension, leaving viewers anticipating the exact nature of the repercussions for the arrogant officers and wondering how the confrontation would fully resolve. Every detail, from the flashing lights to the precise movements of the elite team, reinforced the inevitability of justice striking swiftly, leaving the audience on edge, fully immersed in the unfolding drama and desperate to see what would happen next. As the elite officers moved in, the scene erupted into controlled chaos. The once arrogant cops froze, their smirks replaced by wide-eyed panic as they were ordered to raise their hands. One by one, they were handcuffed, the weight of the law now pressing down on them with undeniable authority. Their protests, bluster, and defiance fell flat against the precision and experience of the incoming agents. The surrounding crowd, initially tense and anxious, watched in awe and disbelief as the tables turned so dramatically in mere minutes. Chuck stood a few feet away, composed and unwavering, his presence alone commanding the scene. Not a single tremor betrayed his emotions. His calm contrasted sharply with the chaos enveloping the officers. Each arrest was swift, professional, and meticulous, leaving no room for escape or negotiation. Microhooks built the suspense. Whispers among the onlookers speculated on Chuck's reach. The agents exchanged subtle nods acknowledging his influence, and the restrained but unmistakable authority in Chuck's posture hinted at power far beyond the immediate situation. The officers' fear was palpable, their realization sinking in that their actions had triggered consequences far exceeding their expectations. Chuck's eyes surveyed the scene, calculating and patient, demonstrating that true justice does not need to shout. It simply executes with precision. The crowd absorbed the full spectacle. The arrogance of the cops crumbling, the seamless execution of law enforcement, and the undeniable power of a man they had underestimated. Even as order was restored, the lingering tension and awe among everyone present teased the audience, signaling that Chuck's influence extended far beyond what anyone could immediately see. Every glance, every command, every calculated step hinted at deeper connections, leaving viewers eager to discover the next revelation of his authority. With the racist cops finally restrained, the street fell into an uneasy silence. The message was unmistakable. Arrogance and prejudice carry consequences that cannot be ignored. Chuck Norris remained composed, his posture calm, his expression unshaken, embodying both strength and authority without a single word. Every movement, every glance he gave conveyed that he was a man who had faced danger before and would never be intimidated by those who overestimated their power. The crowd absorbed the lesson, witnessing firsthand that true influence comes from discipline, experience, and the ability to remain unflinching under pressure. Chuck's calm authority contrasted sharply with the defeated officers, showing that real power is measured not by threats, but by the quiet control one maintains in moments of chaos. The subtle moral lingered. Never underestimate someone who combines skill, discipline, and the readiness to act decisively. As Chuck walked away, the onlookers understood that justice does not always announce itself loudly, yet it strikes with precision, leaving a lasting impression on anyone foolish enough to challenge it. They tried to arrest Chuck Norris and learned the hard way that true power cannot be underestimated. His calm, disciplined authority turned the situation upside down, showing that arrogance and prejudice always have consequences. What would you have done if you were in his shoes? Comment below with your thoughts and don't miss the next story where more shocking moments of unexpected justice unfold.